I can act like we know what we're doing, but you'd find it out anyway, so I'm just gonna tell you right now.
We own a boat and we have no idea about anything.
Everything's just a little more difficult. We've had every bit of pride stripped from us.
Every bit.
Good
We're
morning,
humble.
sunshine.
Wow. So it's been about a week that we've been on the boat, and
Has it been relaxing?
no, it hasn't been relaxing at all.
I know none of y'all are feeling sorry for us, but we've never worked harder and been more tired at night. We've never been so challenged in 1 week, I don't think, ever in our lives.
Oh, definitely not. This has been unbelievably exhilarating and frightening at the same time, with a learning curve that is just so steep. It's amazing. A week ago, we moved on the boat, and Sunsail brought us out here with all of our luggage, and it was really exciting. We are the last slip in on this super yacht, high security
We're also
dock.
on the quarantine dock.
We moved on, and they took off, and they just
"See you
laughed and
later."
said, "See you later, bye."
Suckers!
So we moved on to the boat, and we had no idea what we were doing. We own a boat and we have no idea about anything.
You gotta start somewhere.
Oh, scary.
I mean, simple things like cutting on the gas.
Yeah, on the stove.
There are all these safety things on the boat that you have to make sure you've done before it'll come on.
This morning we are trying to figure out how to make a cup of coffee, how to get the propane started. As you know, coffee is a necessity. You making progress, honey?
Nope. I think there's a little bit of fuel in the tank over there, but not. Basically, we don't know what we're doing. I can act like we know what we're doing, but you'd find it out anyway, so I'm just gonna tell you right now. And the fright wig, I'm sure, is beautiful.
Well, we gave up on getting the oven started and decided to use the microwave because we could figure that out.
Like pumping the water out of the shower. It's below the water line, so you have to pump everything out. You gotta find the knob. It didn't seem like it was working, but it was working. It was really slow.
It was working, but we just had to hold it in, but we didn't know that.
I mean, you don't do that at home.
Right, right.
We take so many things for granted at home that you can't here on the boat.
In the middle of the night, the air conditioning stopped working and started blowing hot air. So we woke up completely sweat covered and had to learn how to remedy that situation, which we did the next day. What else went wrong? Oh, the fridge was freezing.
All of our salad materials, thank goodness they're good salad materials here, were just frozen and ruined.
Everything was frozen solid, literally.
Yeah, pretty frustrating, but we ended up getting that fixed. But that took an expert, and it took him a while to figure it out.
Probably 3 or 4 hours.
And fix it, so there's like no way that we could have done it.
Yeah.
So babe, tell us about your first night on the boat.
Well, there definitely wasn't a lot of sleep. You know, it's just, it takes getting used to. There's so many new sounds and squeaks, and the fenders rubbing up against the cement wall.
So you hear the squish, squish.
So not a very good night of sleep. I'm sure it'll just take a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, and so the mattresses are not known for being super comfortable on these things. They're rather thin.
And they've got these dividing sections so that you can pick up the mattresses easily to get to the storage areas underneath them. But because of that, you know, could have in the middle of your back or the lower back a crease that you try and sleep on, and that just doesn't work very well.
Anyway, these are high-class problems to have, right?
Yeah, minor problems, obviously.
Yep.
But it's our world now.
And everything's going on at once.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think that's what it is you're multitasking with men on board from 8 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night,
doing
fixing
things that you're totally unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
And you're being humbled at the same time, and you're relying on people. And
then a bigger issue came, and that was that we had accidentally filled the
yeah,
holding
that's the
tank.
Blackwater holding tank, and the Blackwater holding tanks on these are really small. They're like the smallest. They're like the smallest they can make them and still have them pass regulations. So if you're pretty aggressive with the toilet, it's all going to be stored in the holding tank, and that thing can fill
very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. And when you're in the marina, you can't let it flow. The only time that you can release, well, you can have it pumped out, but we don't have a pump here on the quarantine super yacht dock. Or you can go out at sea and release your holding tanks, and that's like 1-2 miles out. But the problem is, our insurance company will not allow us to take our boat out by ourselves. So we had to get a captain. It's like we're little babies and we can't do anything for ourselves. So Cosmo, the captain of the 58 Leopard catamaran here, like the top guy on the totem pole, is taking the councils out on a poop run.
I'm blown away. How exciting is this? On a poop run. Out on the boat for the first time since the sea trial.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
Okay, we're going in to drop the Blackwater right now. Get the action shot?
Yeah.
Hope I don't screw it up too bad.
Down here, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found
It's
what
up.
we're
Yep.
So now we have to flush the toilet right here. It's going to get water flushing through the system and they'll clean out the tanks.
Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So we poop dumped. Exciting things happened this week as well. Aside from all the upgrades and fixes, we actually signed our name onto the boat, or tagged the boat. I'm not even sure what the proper terminology of naming a boat is and getting the signage on, but
And we have to have that done before we leave, because you can't be sailing without a name and identification on the boat. Grant Gunther was our designer
of a logo.
Of the logo. We appreciate it, Grant. Great job. And
yeah, and then the rest of it, Brown, you picked out the font.
picked out the font.
And so we got that printed, and then they came and we paid them to install it, because if you mess up, you have to pay for having the decal reprinted. Well, ironically, they put on one of the decals completely crooked and had to take it off and reapply the next day. So I'm glad that we used them.
And then you also have to determine which port that you hail from, and so you can kind of pick anything you want to. So we thought about High Point or New York, or even Chapel Hill. But heck, you can put whatever. I mean, where can you just put wherever you want to? So we put Key West, Florida, because it just seems like a really cool place. I've always enjoyed visiting there.
Yeah, we love the Keys.
And we look forward to returning there, so that's why we chose. I mean, you know, you just can pick whatever you want to. That's why we chose Key West.
Yeah. So we had to negotiate with the locals. That's, I think, been the hardest thing for us to do, because we don't know what things cost. We don't know what labor costs around here. When we ask, people are they're non-committal, and so that has been a bit of a challenge. And when a local walks up to our boat, this is, you know, our dinghy is more than that person probably makes in a year. They try and charge more than...
I mean, I kind of do the same thing, because, I mean, there are some outrageous prices that you think are normal, but they really aren't. And they're looking at your boat, and you're in a 44-foot yacht, and they're thinking, well, you've got the cash and everything. But Eileen and I, the reason why we're able to afford this is because we've been very frugal with our money and everything that we buy. And so this is no exception. And getting to the true price is something that you have to check with locals. You have to shop around. We found that even when you settle on a price, there's lots of negotiation afterwards.
Goodness. Yeah.
Thank goodness. And still, they're getting a really good rate, but the key is finding somebody who does a good job, because you do not want shoddy work on your boat, because that could leave you in danger later on, and it can really affect the price of this great new investment.
Another exciting thing that happened this week was our dinghy arrived, our brand new beautiful dinghy. You all have given us some suggestions on what to name her. We have not decided
Still
yet.
considered it. We appreciate that, everybody, all your comments.
Yeah, but she arrived, and it was really hard to try and find a time to get away to learn how to use the dinghy, but we did.
And before that, we have to figure out how to attach it to the boat, and then you got to do these custom wires, and there's the davit system, and then you have to brace your thing on the davit so it doesn't move around while you're unpacking. There's so many little things that need to be modified and fabricated in order to customize your dinghy for your boat. There's nothing standard about it.
Yeah, it was almost a full day of work to get the dinghy set, and we're not finished yet. Well, the day our dinghy arrived, we learned that the night prior, 4 dinghies were stolen in the marina. We had asked about dinghy theft in the marina, and everyone said the marina's really safe, lock things up, but just know it's very safe. Well, the 4 dinghies were stolen the night before, and then our dinghy arrives, and we don't have the proper cables to raise the dinghy in the davits. So we had to tie her up and leave her overnight in the water. 2 nights.
Yeah.
With and we had a cable lock, but I can tell you we did not sleep well because we were nervous about her getting stolen from behind the boat.
Well, and if it gets stolen, we'd have to get a real small dinghy and a small engine, because things are limited here on the island, and we ordered those way ahead of time. So our replacements, not only would we be losing all that money, but our replacements would be inferior. And also, the longer you leave the dinghy in the water, barnacles and growth starts growing on it. So not only did we think it was getting stolen, but I was thinking, man, there must be barnacles the size of basketballs growing on that. We got to get that out of the water quick.
But the dinghy was there. That's the good news. Brown has been doing a great job learning how to run the dinghy, and we to provision the boat.
But I was scared to death the first 2 times getting on it.
It definitely is nerve-wracking. So we didn't learn this until just a couple of days ago, that we had been provisioning by walking it's about 6/10 of a mile to the grocery store, and we were limited to only what we could put in our backpack to carry back. And we learned a couple of days ago that there's a dinghy dock at the supermarket.
Good find, babe.
Yes.
Did great.
So one of our biggest accomplishments this week was getting into the dinghy and taking that over to the supermarket, to the dinghy dock. Okay, we're doing something we have not done before. Whoa! We are taking the dinghy for the first time to go to the grocery store. Oh my goodness, this is a big moment. We didn't successfully tie it up.
That's a lot better than walking.
Some guy tied us up, thank God, because we still don't know how to tie our knots.
Do you remember?
We will learn starting Monday, but for now, we rely on the kindness of strangers. And there is the mall. It's amazing! Well done, honey!
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Successful trip to the grocery store for the first time! Yeah!
It was just incredible going to the grocery store by dinghy. Have you
And-
ever been to the grocery store by dinghy?
And not only that, we could provision much more. We could carry more because we didn't have to worry about walking, half a mile back.
Sure.
But it was a 45-minute trip in the supermarket with a lot of angst, just wondering if our dinghy would be there when we got back, and it was. We've learned a lot, we've grown a lot, we've faced our fears. It is an incredibly steep learning curve. It's daunting at times, but if you're not afraid to ask for help, and if you are not afraid to fail at something and you just try, we've been okay, and we believe that that's going to be the case in the future with everything that we're going to learn. So
we've had every bit of pride stripped from us.
Every bit. We are humbled.
Yeah, we're humbled and humiliated.
Completely. But you know what? We're exhilarated that we have gotten this far. We now know how to do a few things. And if we can learn a few things every single time something goes wrong.
And one of the reasons why we started doing this is so we can learn new things, and it's just a whole new world, and we just can't wait to see where we're at this time next year and just count all the things we've learned.
And laugh at all of the
Mistakes
and stupid things we did.
awkward situations.
Yeah. But we're thankful for you all. Thanks for following us.
We
Thanks
really
for your
are. We love you
encouragement.
guys.
We love you guys, and thanks for watching. And if you would, please hit the subscribe button. Share this with your friends, especially someone that you know that might be doing the same thing we are, to give them the encouragement that they can thrive.
Leave some comments. We want to hear from you, and stay tuned for next week's video.
Bye.
See ya.